Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into a story that feels like a modern myth, almost like an ancient fable. It's called The Unfinished River. And this manuscript, it really gets you thinking. It poses this one simple question, but man, the answer is anything but simple. What does it actually mean to atone?
Okay, so picture this. The story kicks off on the shore of a river that's so old, it's forgotten its own name. And there, we meet our main character, a traveler. He's a poet, and he's just looking for a way to cross. But, as you're about to find out, this isn't just about getting to the other side. His real journey, well, it's about facing a past he's been running from and discovering a future he couldn't even dream of. So his journey really gets started with this one encounter. There's this mysterious ferryman waiting for him, right? And this guy, he's about to totally flip the traveler's whole worldview on its head. Not just about the world, but about himself too. And this is where we see these two completely different ways of looking at life just collide. For the traveler, time is a straight line, a road with clear milestones. But the ferryman? Nope. He sees time like a river. It's messy, it's circular, with eddies and whirlpools where the past is always bubbling up. This one little argument, it basically sets the stage for the entire story. So this is where things get really interesting. The price for crossing. The ferryman isn't looking for coins. He wants something way more valuable. He demands a story. And not just any story. The one story the traveler has buried deep down. The one he's never told a single soul because it's tied to his deepest shame. Yeah, to get across this river, he's first got to navigate his own memories. So, the traveler finally tells his story. Turns out, when he was a young poet, he was so desperate for silence to write that he killed a bird that was singing outside his window. And in taking that life, he felt like he lost his own ability to create, his gift with words. But then the ferryman drops this bombshell of a truth on him. He says, that's not just your story. That's the only story. That cycle, right? Wanting something, taking it, losing something in return, and then maybe learning from it. That's basically the blueprint for all human regret. All right, so he's told the story, he's paid his price, and he finally gets to cross the river. But the thing is, the place he ends up, it's not at all what he expected. He lands in this really strange, eerily silent place called the Village of Stones. Now remember, the traveler has been carrying these 3 stones with him, stones he picked up from his father's courtyard. Well, in this village, he finally learns what they really are. They're called mother stones, and they represent the source of our biggest burdens in life. Memory, the mother of all that was, desire, the mother of what could be, and grief, the mother of what will never be. I mean, these aren't just rocks, They're the physical weight of his entire inner world. And the villagers here, they're all doing one thing, this constant activity they just call the work. What they're doing is building this huge, spiraling wall, stone by stone. But this isn't your typical construction project. The idea is that each person has to really listen to feel where their own personal stone, their own burden, fits into the wall. It's all about taking that private pain and making it part of something shared, something bigger than yourself. So when our traveler finally finds the right spot and places his stone, the one representing the memory of that bird he killed, he feels this physical release. It's like the weight is literally lifted. And that's his big aha moment. Atonement isn't just about thinking you're sorry or saying the words. It's a physical act. It's about giving back, about turning your private shame into part of a shared foundation. So he's feeling totally transformed, cleansed. He thinks, okay, I'm done. I've completed my journey. So he leaves the village and heads home. But oh boy, he has no idea. The toughest lesson of all is still waiting for him right at his own front door. He gets back to his wife, Aditi, and he's just bursting to tell her all about his incredible, profound spiritual experience. But then, she tells him her story, and it changes everything. Because while he was out having this grand adventure, crossing mystical rivers, her journey was taking place within the 4 walls of their home. It was a journey of quiet resistance, a fight against being confined by marriage, a struggle against having her own intellectual life stolen from her. And her words just hit him with this devastating clarity. He realizes his whole transformation, his big spiritual journey, it wasn't just his. It was a luxury that was only possible because she was confined. His freedom to go out and seek enlightenment was literally built on a system that forced her to stay home and serve. And just like that, everything he thought he'd learned is completely turned on its head. This is a huge turning point.
He's forced to unlearn everything he thought he knew. The work, that thing he learned in the village, suddenly can't be this personal, spiritual quest anymore. It has to be something shared, something real, and yeah, something political.
And all of a sudden, those mystical metaphors from the village, they snap into focus with this powerful real-world meaning. That wall of stones is no longer just a metaphor. It's a community board where women share dangerous truths. Mystical atonement is now a secret school Aditi started for women. And that river crossing becomes a seed exchange, a practical underground network of resistance. So building the wall isn't just some abstract idea anymore. No, it's the real, tangible work of creating a lending library, a health collective, a support network. It's the slow, sometimes dangerous, and very practical work of building a real community in the face of a system that wants to keep everyone isolated and powerless. And the story doesn't wrap up with a neat little bow. The manuscript ends in these fragments that show us one final crucial thing. This shared, messy, difficult work, it's never actually finished. It just changes, it evolves, and it gets passed on to the next person. We see this in a letter Aditi writes to her daughter, right as she's nearing the end of her life. And in it, she lays out the final, most important lesson of all. The work, it isn't really for us. It's for the people who come after us. Real transformation, she says, isn't about finding your own personal peace or completion. It's about adding a stone to a wall for a future you yourself will never get to see. And this is what brings the traveler's entire journey full circle. Remember, he started out as this poet, so desperate to make a name for himself, to create a legacy with his own words. But he ends up finding real meaning, not in being the architect of the wall, but in just becoming one of the stones, becoming the building material for someone else's future. His ego is just gone. All that's left is this quiet desire to be a useful part of something much bigger than himself. And in the end, that's what the unfinished river does. It turns the question back on us, on you. It asks us to really look at our own lives, at our jobs, our relationships, our communities, and to see the small, day-to-day acts of placing our own stones. And it leaves us with this powerful idea that maybe, just maybe, the most meaningful work we'll ever do isn't for ourselves at all, but for a wall that we'll never live to see finished.